So good evening, everyone. Hare Krishna. I was just looking for a particular verse in the Bhagavad Gita. Om Jnanatipadandasya Gananjana Shalakaya Chakshul Militam Yena Tasmai Shri Gurave Namaha. I was born in the darkness of ignorance, and my spiritual master opened my eyes with the torchlight of knowledge. I offer my humble obeisances unto him. So there is a reason behind everything we do. And sometimes you could say it's logical reasons and sometimes illogical reasons, but there's a reason behind everything we do. So some time ago they actually have it up throughout the whole year, but it's this huge diesel truck, and they park it like when you're driving on the freeway or on I-5. There's a bridge. You look up, there's a bridge, and there's a diesel parked there, and then it says Jesus Christ. Means everybody knows Jesus Christ, I think. The reason for the season. So referring to Christmas. So Jesus Christ being the reason for Christmas. Which they're implying that a lot of people celebrate Christmas without really keeping in mind the whole reason behind the season, Jesus Christ, the birth of Jesus Christ. So, and we see that when people lose sight of the main reason why they should be doing a particular activity, then it tends to degenerate into very just strange things, weird things. Confirmation, see that? Whose phone was that? For example, it went from the worship of a great saintly personality as Jesus Christ, and then it somehow or other became a eggnog. What do they mix with eggnog? Some type of alcohol. Eggnog drinking, Santa Claus worshiping, tree cutting down event without even any thought of Jesus. Now, if people want to cut down trees and drink eggnog and what else did I say? Worship Santa Claus or something. Okay, it's a free world. People could do that. But to make a holiday that was meant to celebrate a great saintly personality's life and teachings, and then to make it into that is a little strange. Or just like, for example, Easter. Easter was originally, Prakash, do you think you could sit right here? Sorry, because there's a empty spot right here. Thank you. So Easter was originally a holiday that was meant to celebrate the resurrection of Jesus Christ. It means like he was crucified, and then he rose from the dead three days later. I believe it's 3 days. That's what it's supposed to celebrate. So now it became like a huge, big bunny, right? And searching for eggs. They don't do that in India, right? Easter hasn't come to India. Not yet. Or you have, for example, so you have Christmas, or you have St. Patrick's Day. Now St. Patrick, his name's Saint. Saint Patrick means he was a saintly person. He lived for truth. He was a wonderful person. But now what do people do on St. Patrick's Day? They just get wasted, That's the main thing they do on St. Patrick's Day, go to the bars. So you have Easter, Christmas, St. Patrick. Anyways, it goes on. So when people lose sight of a particular, the reason behind which something should be done, then yeah, sometimes it just becomes strange. For example, so in other words, we should know, have logical reasons behind everything we do. That's the point. We should have logical reasons. We should know the purpose behind everything we're doing. So for example, there's a short story of a, do you think somebody could close that door there that goes? So there's a short story of this person anyways, I'll tell you right now. So there was once a particular man, and he shaved his head because somebody who he loved passed away. And it's a tradition in India, generally, that when somebody passes away, then the male, they'll shave their head. That's a tradition. So this man did that. He shaved his head because one of his, someone he loved passed away. So anyways, he was going around the town, and he was going around his town, and then someone was asked, "Oh, I said that you shaved your head. Why do you do that?" And he said, "Oh, my Sargal Singh, he died." And then the person's like, "Oh, well, who's Sargal Singh?" And he's like, "Oh, Sargal Singh. You don't know who Sargal Singh?" And he is, my most beloved friend. Sargal Singh's dead. So then that man, he shaved his head. Means just the random man he saw. He shaved his head. So then it went on like that. Everybody started shaving their head because Sargal Singh is dead. See, that rhymes, right? So then eventually it went to, you could just imagine the whole town was just everybody has their head shaved. And then eventually it went to the king. At that time there was kings. There used to be kings. So then the king, he saw all of his citizens with their head shaved, and then he got one of his secretaries. "Oh, you investigate." The secretary also had a shaved head. "You investigate, who is this Sargal Singh?" Because that's who everybody's shaving their head for. So then they went through the whole town. This person, that person, this person, that person, this person, that person. And then eventually they got to the original person who shaved their head because their friend died. And then, so this secretary asked, "So I'm coming here on behalf of the king. I shaved my head, and so many of the citizens, practically everybody, shaved their head. But the king wants to know, who is Sargal Singh?" And then the man said, "Oh, Sargal Singh?" I said, he was my donkey." I told that for Suresh for his happiness. He is my donkey. So everybody shaved their head for Sargal Singh, this deceased donkey. Now, if people want to do that, okay, fine. People want to shave their head for a donkey who passed away. That's their business. But the thing is, no one knew who Sargal Singh was. They were just, "Oh, Sargal Singh is dead. Oh, Sargal Singh is dead." So everybody, shaving their head. I guess they didn't have buzzers. They're just going shaving their head with a razor. So the idea is that we should know the purpose behind what we're doing, not just to do something just because. There's also a case of a woman. She was and a man. They're getting married, and then all of a sudden, a cat ran into the ceremony, and then the priest said, quick, someone get a wicker basket, and then put the basket over the cat. So then that's what they did. So the basket was there, and must have been a big heavy basket to hold the cat, but anyways, the basket was covering the cat. And then the ceremony went on. So that man and woman married, and then they had children, right? 20 years later. I mean, they had children soon, but then 20 years passed. And then this woman and man, they were at their daughter's marriage. So in other words, this couple had kids, and then the kid grew up and was getting married. So then the mother, who had that experience at her wedding with the cat and the wicker basket covering the cat, while the ceremony was going on, while her daughter was getting married, the mother said, wait, we can't go any further with this we can't go any further with this ceremony. Where's the cat? Where's the basket? Right? So the priest said, okay, I'm not sure what's going on with her, but, she's going to give me some doctrine later, so I guess we'll arrange the cat, So anyways, the cat, he said, all right, fine, bring the cat. So they brought the cat in, basket. Okay, now we can continue, right? So, and then it just went on like that. And then this woman, she got married, then she had children, and then at her daughter's marriage ceremony, same thing. And it went on, a generation. And then, some time passes and people say, what's going on with the cat, in the basket? I don't know. It's just a family tradition, right? So yeah, there is a reason why we do things. There should be logical reasons why we do things. And that's, you could say, the responsibility of humans to know, to try to find out what is the purpose. Or else we find ourselves doing things that are just purposeless, meaningless. Or just, for example, my friend told me recently that there was this particular thing I'm going to tell you illustrates this verse in the Bhagavad Gita. Dayato vishayan pumsa sangasteshu bhajayate sangat sanjayate kama krodha bijayate. That while contemplating the objects of the senses, in other words, while observing this world and trying to find pleasurable things for our own selfish pleasure, a person becomes attached. Through meditation, a person becomes attached. And then what happens? From this attachment, lust develops. And when we say lust, people, generally that word immediately means sexual, but not necessarily. It means these strong desires for whatever it may be develop. Of course, sexual desire is included in that, but and then from this lust, anger arises when it becomes frustrated. And then from anger, complete delusion. From delusion, bewilderment of memory. When memory is bewildered, intelligence is lost. And when intelligence is lost, one falls again into the material pool. So it's this cycle that is not pretty. So my friend recently told me how Anyways, who knows who it was, and he didn't say the name, and ultimately I don't think it matters so much. But there was some very famous athlete, American athlete, and he was meditating on what he thought would make him happy. Means opposite sex, a woman, and she was meditating on him, what she thought would make him happy. And they got together. I mean, surprise, surprise, right? That's what goes on in this world. But they got together on the basis of trying to, anyways, enjoy themselves. And she became pregnant. And he didn't want that. So he was telling her, you should abort your child. But she didn't want that. So he became very frustrated, very angry. And what he did is he hired someone to kill her. And that's what happened. So, and then somehow or other it got out because things get out. You know, it's so people found out, and then he was being chased by the police, which is amazing because this guy was like extremely wealthy. I mean, anyways, this is demonstrated in this verse. He lost his intelligence. Anyways, so he was running by car throughout the country. Then they found him hiding in his trunk, and in the middle of the country. You know, eventually they found him and convicted him. But so this is an example of meditation on the objects of the senses, as the Bhagavad Gita describes it. Attachment, lust develops, attachment, and then there's some frustration, anger, and then some delusion, bewilderment of memory, and then falling into the material pool. So we have to be careful because it's actually a dangerous world. That guy, before he did all that, might have been a really nice guy. It's very tricky. And therefore, the beauty of our lives is that we have the ability to actually inquire. We have the ability to inquire into the absolute truth. Who am I? Why am I here? What's the nature of this world? What's the nature of God? We have the ability to inquire. And not only just to inquire, but then we have the means to find the answers. And not only do we have the means to find the answers, the ability to find the answers, but we have the ability to act on it. Act on the knowledge we have received. So it's actually a great fortune we have. Whereas but as humans we have options. We have options to live a life where we don't really inquire and we don't really know the purpose behind what we're doing, like this cat with the wicker basket story, or Sargal Singh is dead story, right? They don't really understand why they're doing what they're doing. They're just doing it. Or we also, so that's kind of living like a meaningless life or a pointless life or a life without any logical reasoning behind it. There's that option. There's another option of just living a life in which we lose control of ourselves. Just like this man in that story I told, he lost control. He completely lost it. He didn't want a child, I suspect, because when children come into the picture, that means more responsibility. That means you got to pay more money. Like the guy didn't have enough money to spend. He was an athlete, he had plenty of money. But it... all right, Paul, I'll see you later. Hare Krishna. Okay, good luck with your appointment. Hare Krishna. Okay, Hare Krishna. You have enough prasadam? You need another box? No, enough. Okay, all right. Okay, Hare Krishna. So yeah, this person completely lost it. So therefore, part of the beauty of the human form is we have actually the ability to control, which is actually freedom. People say, oh, I just want to let myself go out of control and just enjoy myself. Well, try doing that when you're driving on the road. I just want to go out of control. I just want to, right on the freeway, turn right, turn left. It doesn't work. You have to control the car. You got to see where you're going. You have to control. You have to, you can't just put your put your foot on put the pedal on the metal, right, and spin this way, spin that way. So similarly with driving, but with anything we do, actually controlling ourselves in different ways actually brings happiness and freedom. Whereas a lot of people nowadays, they say, oh, quite the opposite, just let everything go. Well, we've been trying that for the last, 50 years, 100 years, long time, hundreds and hundreds of years. They cause a lot of problems. So, okay, does anybody have any questions or comments? Yes. Chris.
Yes, visiting back what you were saying earlier about why do we practice such customs, I can tell you I was raised Catholic, right? So I'm not practicing as of many years ago, but when I stopped practicing, I, looked into a lot of different spiritualities and customs and cultures, and plus, with my education, the reason that we do the things nowadays, with coloring eggs and cutting down trees, these are pagan customs. They were, for instance, Christmas is actually a Germanic holiday called Yule, and it's also combined with the Roman festivities of Saturnalia. Yeah. And then as far as Easter, that's also a pagan holiday. It's fertility goddess named Eostre. So it's an Anglo-Saxon belief system. They did color eggs in those beliefs in the old days. So when Christianity became very powerful, this often happens with ancient cultures. When they conquer one civilization, they take on the culture of that one. Just like when the Romans conquered the Greeks, they took a lot of their gods and things and their customs. Same thing with the Mother Church. When they did their crusades and they got very powerful, they couldn't convert everybody and have them believe forcefully what they wanted. So they converted a lot of the holidays to what we know today. A lot of the most popular holidays are, in fact, pagan holidays. Yes. Yes. So that's why we have that.
Thank you.
Yes.
You have something to tell us? All right. Yes, Mark.
If it's possible, if you feel on that frame of your mind, would you give some advice when, unfortunately, the process already begun, when the person fall in love? But on this specific case that I'm asking, the person is self-aware. let's say that by these days many people have issues with anger management. So people know they are falling down because of the loss, the anger, and finally the horrible price, losing the intelligence. So do you have any advice when
Like-
when the person already
Knows.
fell? Yeah.
When they already fell into that? Yeah. Well, I mean, I've never met anyone who was always angry. I mean, generally, people, I mean, I'm sure there's people out there, but generally it comes in a storm, you know, people become angry. Of course, there's people who, anyways, I'm sure there's people who are always angry. But there's something, like when someone's a drug addict, there has to be intervention in order for a person to become free from that. So, in other words, they need somebody to help them. So there's all types of, you know, doctors and psychologists and this and that who try to help people in that way. But there's also trying to, you could say, solve problems on the spiritual in a spiritual way. And that's what we would recommend, that it's actually a problem. It could be, you could try to solve it on the in a material way, but ultimately it won't work. So you have to try to solve it in a spiritual way. I'm thinking of this particular person, my friend. His name's Prabhupada Das. He lives in India, Mayapur. And he had a huge anger problem. When he was a young man in Philadelphia, he would throw rocks at the Hare Krishnas, at the devotees, and he would say all types of, you know, profane things to them. And then eventually one day, one devotee, one brahmachari, one monk, he was distributing books, and he tried to give him a Bhagavad Gita. And this person, his name was Nick, he started saying, "Oh, I don't want that Bhagavad Gita," and started to criticize the particular devotee. And then this devotee said, he said, "Oh, you're nothing but a punk, you know, you're just," and he just walked away. So then this Nick, he was thinking, yeah, he's right. That particular devotee is right, that, yeah, that's true, I'm nothing but a punk. And then he went back and he apologized to him. He said, "I'm so sorry," this and that, and he took a book. Now, he became a devotee, he became a practitioner of Bhakti Yoga, but as time went on, he still had that anger problem. Even while as a practitioner of Bhakti Yoga, he still had that anger problem. So at one particular point, he wanted to solve it. So what he did is he devised this plan that he would hear Srila Prabhupada, the founder of the Hare Krishna movement, he would hear his kirtans, his chanting, and his lectures all day long while he was getting ready to go to work, while he was cooking, while he was driving his car to work, everything. All day long he was hearing Srila Prabhupada. And he said that Srila Prabhupada's voice acted as a powerful force, and he said that he felt like this ghost of anger leave him. Like he felt like he was exorcised. You know, when there's a ghost there, you're gonna... by Srila Prabhupada's voice. So that is what we would say is the main process to subject our consciousness to transcendental sound in the form of Hare Krishna, the mantra, and also in the form of hearing talks on the Bhagavad Gita and chanting, kirtan, in association with other like-minded people. That will help us become free.
Thank you, Prabhu.
Okay.
Good Good two advices. Thank you.
Yes. All right. Okay, so now we'll move on. So I think it's a little slow because of maybe raining and dark, and it's holidays. A lot of people are traveling. So, but we're very happy all of you came. Thank you very much. And yeah, we'll be having this next week, so please feel free to stop by again. All right, Hare Krishna.